Well, good afternoon. Hi, everybody. This is Wednesday. It's been a while since we've seen each other. And so I've been traveling on vacation and visiting friends. And then I got sick. But mainly traveling. I went to 3 different places. And it was awesome because I was supposed to. So anyway, this is Agent Prep with Wow Lillie Handy so that you can prepare for your exams to take your Texas license exam and your national license exam. So national applies to everybody, okay, anywhere in the U.S., and the state exam is basically for Texas residents. And however, a lot of, the items are going to be similar, so you'll still learn. So welcome to the group. So say hi. And if you haven't given permission to Facebook to make comments on StreamYard like this here, okay, or like this, go to this link that I added on the chat and give Facebook permission, okay, to post. So let me see here. So you'll see a message like this when you click on that link. And you just then give them, let StreamYard see your Facebook Live comments, and you're going to be given a permission. And then you'll be able to see, I'll be able to see who it is that's on the comments on either YouTube or on my Facebook group and on the Agent Prep. These are recorded live while we're on here. So if for some reason you have to depart, not to worry, you'll be able to go back and see the whole video, okay? So I'm just getting ready here to, let's see here, 54. So welcome. Everybody's coming in and leaving. Boy, don't be going away. So we'll get started as usual. We will do vocabulary first, and then we'll go into national questions and then state questions. Hi, you're in Houston. So who is this? Try to go to this link right now. I posted it right there on the chat. And give Facebook permission, and I'll be able to see your name from your Facebook channel. If you're on YouTube, it'll be the same thing because it is broadcasting to both. Okay? And at any time, feel free to ask questions. This is for you to learn the material to prepare for your Texas state exam and for your national, and to learn vocabulary. I use multiple sources. Today I'm using 2 sources, okay? And I wrote them down on the comments as far as what the 2 different books that we're using, okay? And so it should show up when you first got on. Let me see here. So the 2 books we're using is Texas Real Estate License Exam by Pearson View. Okay, so it's this exam here, this book here, Texas Real Estate License Exam Prep, and that is a recent book. It has vocabulary. What I like predominantly is that it has questions and answers that, that you can see the answers and understand. Okay, so that's one book. The second book is Texas. Oops. It's another Texas book, because we are in Texas, but it has a lot of Texas real estate license. Oh no, it says sales exam, 4th edition by Learning Express, and it was published in 2006. However, it is an excellent source still. Okay, so this is the book that we'll be on when we do the state questions, and you see it on the screen right now. And this is the book that we're going to start with right now. Okay, Texas Real Estate Sales Exam. This is what we're starting off with now. We've done this before, and it's an excellent source, so I'm repeating it. At any time, feel free to ask questions, make comments, and when you do, try to let me know who you are, because I have one person from Houston, and some already came and left. Okay, so people will be showing in. This goes on for a couple of hours. Okay, 4th edition, it is free. This one is free on our Facebook group, and it's also free online. So you don't have to pay for it. It's 287 pages. So you can download it from our Facebook group under the Files tab, and it says Texas Real Estate Sales Exam, 4th edition. What I love about this book, okay, on the table of contents, it gives you a little bit of a review. It tells you a little bit about what the sales exam is, preparation for it, has 4 exams, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it has a little refresher course, math review, and a real estate glossary, which we go through. We rarely do math unless it comes up in the questions. And this used to have a CD-ROM. So if you'd be interested in buying it, you know, and have the CD-ROM, some people might still have it, but keep in mind, it is an old source. It is an awesome book. You also have the Scantrons, okay, at the exams that you can print out, and it tells you, let me see, where are the state questions? Okay, so let me go up. It tells you, okay, see this table here? So let's say you're taking the national questions and you miss a whole bunch on this category. These questions are about property ownership. These questions here are about land use, these by land valuation. So if you happen to take the exam and you're weak in an area, then you come back and study those questions for that particular section of the real estate exam, because this is broken down just like the exams are at the Pearson VUE test sites. Okay. Yeah, let's see. It's on page 54. Okay. Oh, I don't want to see, I don't want to give you the answers there. I want to get the questions. Page 45. Okay. And then there's also sources within my Facebook group that gives you acronyms. There are a lot of sources that I downloaded from other individuals online, free sources you can have on prepagent.com, Prep Agent on YouTube, and he also sells material. I don't sell any material. And then I also keep a copy of the IABS, information about brokerage services, and the contract. All right. So with that said, okay, for those of you who came in, Texas Real Estate Sales Exam, we're continuing off where we left off. So we will start off with package mortgage today. Okay. And when you don't understand something, okay, don't hesitate, please. This is for you to practice and learn the material. Okay, there I'll be a little bit louder, I think. Okay, so what's your website? Well, you're on it. Okay, if you're on here on this live, you're on, it's not a website, it's a Facebook page. So I have two Facebook pages, and this Facebook page, I'm not sure which one you're watching, but it's Agent Prep, okay, by Lillie Handy Dominguez, or Wild Lillie Handy Dominguez, okay? That's one of them. The other one is my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page. Where can I see what you're showing on the chats? Oh, I'm sharing the screen, so you should be able to see it on the screen. Who is this that's asking the questions? Identify yourself, please. See, if you're on your phone or you're on your computer, I'm sharing the page. Can everybody else see it? And on the chat, you'll be able to see my comments. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Let me open up the live on here. Hold on. Because this shows it on YouTube, and then I need to also post it on the Facebook group. Hold on. Thank you for pointing that out. All right. Oh, you know what? And I need to also post it on the Facebook group. Hold on. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay, so I've got Vladimir Aleman. Okay, so you're on Facebook. And then Nilka and Nilka. Okay, so the Facebook page, you're on it, okay? Agent Prep, that's what you're on right now. The other one is Wild Lillie Handy. But on that Facebook page is where the resources that I just showed you are under files. So let me show you real quick, because a lot of you are new. So let me get onto my Agent Prep Facebook page so that you can see it on here, and I'll show you, give you a quick little tour. Oh, I don't need to join. I'm signed on. Hold on, if that doesn't work, I'll just move the screen from the other end, because I've got multiple screens that I'm looking at. I'm looking at 4 screens, and then I also look at it on my phone so that I can see what you're seeing. Okay. So hold on, I will. Okay, so you see right here, see, this gets recorded and it stays on here. When you go to the tabs up here, you go to the More tab, scroll down to Files. The very first document is the one that we're on right now, 2006 Texas Real Estate Sales Exam, 4th edition by Learning Express. And there are a lot more. The other book, it's brand new, so I can't share that one with you because of the copyright. This one is already online, so you know, there's a lot of copyright. But is the one that we're on. Oops. Hold on. Okay. So who else has joined? Hi, Patrick and Gina, and Gina Sears. Nice to see you. Patrick Alcala, welcome to the group. So I've got some people from Houston, South Texas, San Antonio. All right. So let's go back to our PDFs. So here's where you get to see them all, okay? All right. So we will start with glossary. So just remind me. So let me copy. because I think you can see whoever just came on. Okay, the sources that I use: Texas Real Estate License Exam Prep by Pearson View. And this is a new source by Pearson View. Okay, so that's one source. The other one is Texas Real Estate Sales Exam, 4th edition by Learning Express, in case you want to search for it. And it was published in 2006, but it is an excellent source. All right. So I've got people that are watching from YouTube channel, my personal Facebook page, and from the prep page, AgentPrep. Okay, we will start now with the vocabulary: package mortgage. So package mortgage is a mortgage that pledges both real and personal property. Okay, that's why they call it a package, or you're putting in a box and you can put multiple things in it. And it acts as the collateral to secure the repayment of the loan. You know, there's different types of mortgages: package mortgage, blanket mortgage, but package, both personal and real estate. Okay, real and personal property. Anything that sits on the property, on top of the land, or dug into the land, under the land, that is real property. So above the air, on the surface, and under the earth, that is real property. Anything that you can take with you that is detached, that is personal property. Parcel, a lot or specific portion of a large tract or real estate. So you'll see a plat map. Sometimes I show you a plat map so you know what a parcel is. Let me see if I can find one really quick here. You know what, if I go through all these, let's see, I showed a map in one of the other classes, but I may not find one right away on here today. Okay, yeah, I don't see one really quick right now. All right, let's continue on. So anyway, so imagine that you're going to a subdivision, and every piece of land that a house sits on, that is a parcel. If it is lots of acreage, it's also a parcel. Okay. So when you're in a subdivision, there's 50 lots, 100 lots. Every lot where they're going to build a home, that is a parcel. A participation mortgage, okay, is a type of mortgage in which the lender receives a certain percentage of the income of resale proceeds from a property, as well as interest on the loan. So the lender is receiving a certain portion. They might be participating, okay, in the proceeds of that property. So type of mortgage in which the lender receives a certain percentage of the income. So they're like an investor participating on that mortgage, on that purchase from a property, as well as the interest on the loan. Partition, the division of property held by co-owners into individual shares. And you have to follow the zoning on how that property can be partitioned. You can't just divide it any way you want. The zoning has to be followed. So there could be zoning for multifamily, for single residence, for 1 acre, 5 acres, 10 acres as you go out into the county. Then the acreage requirement is going to be larger and you can only build one home on it. If it's multiple residents, okay, it's either R2 or RM, residential multiple, and it'll designate that. And so within a city subdivision, they'll be able to build apartment complexes, fourplex, duplex, triplex, fiveplex, things like that. Partnership, okay? An agreement between two parties to conduct business for profit. So you create an LLC or some type of partnership in order to have everything legal and have it all in writing. So in a partnership, property is owned by the partnership, two or more people, not the individual partners. So partners cannot sell their interest in the property without the consent of the other parties. Almost like being married. Both parties have to agree, okay? Okay, nobody made a comment. All right. And party wall. A common wall used to separate two adjoining properties. So sometimes individuals make them out of brick or a fence or stucco, concrete, boulders, different type of rock. Okay, that becomes a party wall. And it is a boundary line between two lots, two adjoining. Adjoining is they're right next to each other. Adjacent, they're opposite of each other, okay? Payee, okay, anything in the EE, they're receiving something, right? They're the ones paying, they're the one paying. And then the payor, okay, is the giver. So the payee is like the vendee. You have a vendor and you have a vendee. A trustee and a trustor. So remember the EEs and the ORs. The ORs are the givers, the EEs are the receivers. So one who receives payment from another is the payee. So that would be the lender. The lender is the mortgagee, not the mortgagor. The mortgagor is the borrower. The payor, one who makes a payment to another. So when there's a loan, the mortgagor, that is us making a payment to the lender, okay? Percentage lease. So if you ever wonder why I have a green screen behind me, that's my green screen that I use to record videos, okay? And then I can change the background if I go and edit it on software. So just out of curiosity, I used to think the same thing when I saw people with a green screen. I'm like, what the heck with the green? All these people have green. Well, when you end up getting into creating videos, it'll make it really easy by getting an inexpensive green screen. Okay, a percentage lease, a lease in which the rental rate is based on a percentage of the tenant's gross sales. This type of lease is most often used for retail space. So bear with me, I've been sick with a little bit of bronchitis. So if I happen to start coughing or having to excuse myself to drink water, please bear with me. If I get really bad hacking, I may have to cut the class. I did go and get a COVID test yesterday just in case. Because you know what? I got vaccinated. All my family got vaccinated. My brothers and one of my brothers got COVID after receiving both doses of Pfizer. He got tested a couple of days ago. And so I've been sick with a cold and a cough, hacking cough, and not sleeping very well. So I talked to a doctor over the phone and ended up getting meds and went and got a COVID test yesterday. So hopefully I have the results today or tomorrow. So a percentage lease is predominantly commercial property. When someone wants to rent a property and their income depends, of course, on the market. Let's say they're selling product, they're selling clothing, they're selling shoes, they're a hair shop. So like in this time, if people were paying a flat fee, okay, they would be in trouble, right? Because at a certain point, they're not going to be able to afford to pay the rent. So in a percentage lease, they may pay a base value plus a percentage of their gross sales. Or it can be a whole percentage based on all the sales. But a lot of times it is a base, like when you get a base salary plus commission, kind of similar to that. Okay. So periodic estate is tenancy. So an estate is you have an interest in real estate, in property. Okay. Estate means you have an interest in real estate. So when you're a periodic estate, you're a tenant that automatically renews itself until either the landlord or tenant gives notice to terminate it. So it's like you could be on a month to month, you could be on a week to week, day to day, year to year. So it's a periodic estate tenancy, okay? So personal property, we touched base a little bit on personal property. Personal property is anything that can move, like cattle, chattel, okay? And you'll hear that if you ever watch Joe Juder, okay, from Prep Agent, he talks about cattle move. So it's chattel. Personal property is chattel. Hereditaments, all items that are not permanently attached to real estate, also known as chattels. Hereditaments, so all these words all mean the same. Hereditaments, chattel, personal property. It can be moved just like cattle moves, okay? That's why you use cattle, chattel, personal property. And then physical deterioration. A loss in the value of a property due to impairment of its physical condition. So, wear and tear, deferred maintenance. So the house starts to look old, starts to need repairs, starts to need new flooring, new paint, things like that. But it's an easy fix. You can repaint it, you can replace flooring, you can replace, light fixtures, door fixtures, curtains, windows. That is physical condition that is easier to replace than when it's functional or it's environmental, exterior. So it is the loss in value of a property due to impairment of its physical condition. Impairment, outdated, needing deferred maintenance. Pity, like kitty, but pity, P-I-T-I. So pity, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, okay? Those are all the components of a regular mortgage payment. If you didn't put down, if a person doesn't put down at least 20% down, whenever there's less than 20% down, then the lender is going to require taxes and insurance to be escrowed. We will always have, let me rephrase that. We will have principal and interest in fixed loans. If it's an interest-only loan, then you would only have interest payment. You wouldn't pay down the principal, or I should say we wouldn't pay down the principal. That's like an amortized rate loan, mortgage, okay? Adjustable rate mortgage. So it's an ARM. They can be 1 year, 3 years, 5, 7. But this one, pity, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance are typically in fixed rate mortgages that are, 20 years, 15, 20, 25, 30 years, sometimes even more, to help the buyer have a lower payment. And with the interest rates right now, oh my gosh, let me tell you, 2.25, a person can get a loan right now. Okay, planned unit development, PUD. Know those acronyms. Oh, wow, this is weird. Why did I lose all my other screens here? Hold on. I've got multiple, my glossary moved away. Hold on, because somehow I clicked and I need to move this right in here so I have it all on the same, and I can enlarge the screen like that. Okay, Plan Unit Development, PUD, PUD, know those acronyms, a type of zoning that provides for residential and commercial uses within a specified area. So sometimes it could be, condominiums or retirement areas, 55 plus type of communities. They're either called MUDs, municipal unit development, or planned unit development, that they will be making additional, updates at a later date. And it may go in phases in that plant unit development. Okay, plat, a map of subdivided land showing the boundaries of individual parcels or lots. Here, let me show you an example. Oh, come on. So, a plat map. Plat map. Okay, these are all plat maps. You see how there's a parcel here? So this is a map. When a surveyor, a developer does a contract to develop land, they buy land to develop it and survey it, then they get an engineering surveyor and they construct the roads, all the utilities, everything. This is a plat map, and it'll have all the lot numbers, okay, on it. That one doesn't have it. It's really small. This one does. Okay, see how this one has lot numbers? So that's what you'll see. That is a plat map. There's so many different ones, and the engineering surveyor does that. Okay, you'll be using these, and you'll find a plat map from the county appraisal district, which you will use regularly. Okay, plat book. Okay, when I started, we didn't have the plat maps online. We would have to go to the planning department and or the records department and look up on a big book that would have a copy of all those surveys, all those plat maps. And it is a group of maps located in the public records. Now they may have them all archived, or what do you call it, in microchips or CDs, however they want to save them. And they're all online. Okay, like they're all online. Let me see, did I have one on here? Let me show you real quick. So I have different counties on here. And we do search site, property search, online service for property search. So you'll be using these types of properties, these types of services, to find properties that you're going to be either helping a buyer buy or a seller list. And so then you can go in here, look at the map. So these will be things that you will be doing once you become a realtor, no matter what county, city you're in. Every county, okay, every county has this. This is San Antonio, Bexar County, okay? So you can keep enlarging it, and you start seeing all those little squares. You start seeing the streets, the expressways. Okay, you'll see everything. And you'll see, we were looking at this little area within a whole county. And then you can look at the actual property. So you see, I clicked on that little turquoise one. It's really small, okay? I clicked on this turquoise one, and it gives me the details. I can find out who the owner is, when they bought it, the legal description, their mailing address, their actual home address, whether they have any exemptions, how much the land value is according to the county, the assessed value. Okay, so like this property has, it's a commercial property. Okay, so it has taxes of $350,000. So this property is worth $1,250,000. So just by clicking on that, okay, I clicked on a commercial property. Okay, if I click on something else over here, I'll end up clicking on a residential lot. So you're going to be learning. That's what a plat map is and a parcel. And all those were printed in the plat book. Yeah, it was a lot of research. The plat number, okay, is the actual number, okay, of that particular plat. So you see all these numbers here? It's really small on here, okay? But there's a 6-digit number on here that identifies that parcel, that lot. It's not the address, it's an identifier number. Part of the, not the legal description, but it is, it'll give you the, see, you have the whole property information here, describes it, and that's the lot number, and then address is assigned to that lot number, so it's an identifier. All that has to be described so that the individual buying and selling, they know what they're getting. And the title companies know, the attorneys know, the escrow officers know, the surveyors. That's the identifier. You can start out with a plat number. Typically, they're going to ask you for the property ID number. PMI, acronym, private mortgage insurance. Okay. PMI, and there's MIP. This is private mortgage insurance, and the other one is mortgage insurance premium. So these are when they're conventional loans, and mortgage insurance premium is when you're dealing with like FHA or VA loans. So FHA loans are insured, and VA loans are guaranteed. So whoever buys an FHA home, they have to pay for the mortgage insurance premium throughout the life of that term. And so do conventionals. If they only put 3% down, 5% down, they also have to pay that. Okay. All right. We're going to stop there with vocabulary. And I'm going to have to take a moment break. And then, excuse me. And then we're going to go into state questions. So I need to write down where we leave off today on glossary. So we know where to start next time. We will start with point on page 173. So this is lesson number 41. So there are lots and lots of lessons, okay, in the group. Okay, take a 2-3 minute break while I go and blow my nose and cough, okay, and drink some water. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Thank you for bearing with me, and hope you took a water break, coffee break, beer break, whatever you're drinking, or bathroom break. Okay, so on this section, we're going to start with we start with national questions, not state. We always go with vocabulary, national. That way people from throughout the United States, they can watch the national. And then if they're not in Texas, they can end up leaving the class. Okay. So this is the source that we're going to use next. And I need to access it on my phone. So that I have my cheat sheet, right? Okay, and we're going to start out with question 223. So this is the book. I bought this December of 2020. The table of contents. Let me see here. Okay, this is on Kindle. So you can always buy material and, study on Kindle and stuff. I forget how much I paid for this, probably a little over $100 for it, but it'll be good for several years and you can sell it. But it also has the National Review, okay, all the different sections that you'll cover, that you've studied, that real estate math cram cards, okay, Texas law and regulations, national practice test, all the sections, section test 1 through 10, and we're on test 2, Texas state level practice test. Right now we're on the other book, and then a whole full exam, and then it has the answer keys. Okay, so today we're starting on 139. What did I say? 223. Okay, so let's hide the notes. And I try to make it large enough for those that are on the phone to be able to see it. So that's why I also have it on my phone. Gosh, guys, sorry. You're going to have to deal with my coughing. Let me pull up the Facebook on my other phone so that I can see what you're watching, okay? because when I have it on my monitor, it doesn't help you so that I know exactly what you're watching. Okay. Okay, so it seems large enough to see it on your phone. You probably have to rotate it. Yes. So when you rotate it, okay, you'll be able to see the material large enough. Does anybody have any problem seeing? There's 4 of you on here. Is anyone having issues seeing the size of the screen? And what I try to do sometimes is make it even larger. Okay, and see more on one page. You see what happens is then you don't get to see it all sometimes. Okay. You see how that happened? Okay, so make it a little bit smaller. Okay, there we go. All right, national questions. So, oh no, wait a minute. That's not it. Pardon me. I looked at the wrong screen. It's question 223, not on page 139. Okay, there we go. Okay, question 23. So ownership of real estate can be transferred voluntarily or involuntarily. The 3 ways title can be transferred voluntarily are by how? So ownership of real estate can be transferred voluntarily and involuntarily. When you're selling it on your own or you're losing it by foreclosure is involuntary, right? The 3 ways title can be transferred voluntarily means you're selling the property and conveying rights to the property. So A, grant, deed, and will. B, escheat, deed, and covenant. C, title, certificate, will, and deed, or title certificate, will, and deed. D, sale contract, deed, and warrant of season. So think about it. How will the seller convey that property? Transfer the title to that property. They sign. Well, I can't tell you because if I tell you, I'll give you the answer. Well, they all have the word deed in it. So the seller signs the deed. The grantor, the owner, is the only person that signs the deed, and it is conveyed to the borrower or a trustee, depending on if it's a deed of trust. In the state of Texas, we have deed of trust. So I'd like you to type the answer, the question, and the answer. Okay, so if the question is 2.23, you're going to type 2.23 and then the letter answer. And that way I can help you understand when you got it right or if you missed it. Okay? So I'll give you a moment after each question so that we can answer. Okay, Mico Doble says 223D. I would think about that again, Miko. Think about it. Warrant of seisin. Seisin is they're seizing the property. And that is not a voluntary way to transfer it. Okay, a Facebook user, Katina Jones, says C, and that is not correct, Idle. A title certificate is like what you would get for a car, a motorcycle. That is not how it is voluntarily conveyed or transferred. So C and D are not correct. Oh, I thought it's the same as the seisin. No, seisin is you seize it. That is involuntary. Somebody is taking the property away from you. So try again. Try. No, do it and do it and do it until you get it. Okay? Okay, so the seller has to sign the deed. Okay, the owner is granting it. So they grant it, they give it to somebody, they sell it, they convey the deed, or they put it in a will and leave it to somebody in the family or friends or donate it. The answer is 223A. (223A). For anyone coming in, we're doing national Q questions and answers. Okay. All right, moving on. Number 24. I'd like to make it even larger for you guys. Let's see here. Doesn't always work. I have to tinker around with how this program does it so that you can see everything on the same page. Okay, so question number 24. Did you all understand number 23? When you voluntarily convey a property, you transfer property, you are granting it to someone. You are deeding it to somebody on a sale, or you're leaving it, you're willing it to somebody on a will. It's not as cheat. As cheat means there aren't any survivors. Okay, deed, covenant, there are rules and restrictions of a subdivision. You know, title certificate is what we get when a property is being transferred. That's not how it's done. So will and deed are correct. On the last one, the only one that's correct is deed. Okay, so A, grant, deed, and will. Number 24. What is the what is the function of recording a deed? So why is a deed recorded? So if you're selling a property, if you're buying a property, would you want that deed to be recorded? So when you sell a car, you have a title, right? Or when you buy a car, the seller has to sign that title, and then the title is now put under your name, and it's public record, right? It's recorded there at the DMV. So the answers are A, it makes the deed valid. B, it causes title to pass. C, it gives constructive notice of ownership. Or D, it removes all prior recorded encumbrances. Hi, Cree LaRue. Thank you for joining us. Okay, Cree says C. It gives constructive notice. So what is the function of recording a deed? So I have a C. I have another C from Katina. Oh, that's weird. Miko's answer is not showing up on Facebook. Oh, you might be on my personal page. Okay, the answer is C. It gives constructive notice of ownership. So it lets the public know that you own it. It's recorded in the courthouse and nobody can go and take it away from you unless you go in default and don't pay for the loan. Now, recording it doesn't cause it to pass. The property is conveyed when the seller signs and delivers, and the buyer acknowledges receipt. Remember the song Signed, Sealed, Delivered? Okay, it's signed and delivered and acknowledged. So that is not, the recording it doesn't have to be recorded. But if you want to be protected and know that it's yours, you want to make darn sure that it's recorded, because there's a lot of corruption and thieves out there that steal properties, that steal a lot of things. So always put it in writing and record. So the answer is 24C. Very good. Let's see who, Katina said C, right? And Cree also said C. All right, number 25. So again, these are national questions. The only clause that is actually required in a deed is the what? A. Here comes definitions. That's why it's most important that you learn definitions, vocabulary, terms, glossary, all mean the same thing. The only clause that is actually required in a deed is the A. Habendum clause, that's a German word to have. B, granting clause. C, reserving clause. Or D, tenendum clause. So these are all definitions. I used to know a little bit of German because I was married to a German man and traveled Germany a lot. So Habendum, a have to have clause. So which one is the only one, only clause that's required in a deed? Who is transferring it? Who is signing it? The grantor. The grantor is granting the deed voluntarily. Okay? Well, shoot, I just gave you the answer. Okay, Miko, hopefully you wrote the answer before I said it. So 225. 225B. Oh, I forgot to post the answer for the other one. 224 was C. 225 is B. You can tell that I'm also streaming, okay, on, oh, it's not supposed to be on that site. It's supposed to be on my, oh, bummer. I selected the wrong one. I'm not with Keller Williams, you guys. I'm with EXP. But Facebook didn't let me, I wonder if it'll let me change it here. Darn. Let's see here. It shouldn't be on that one. Well, I can't change it right now. So you're just going to see Keller Williams Realty, or I just won't be posting that. Okay. So did you all understand that? So it is the granting clause. The other one is like to have and to hold. So the seller, the owner, the grantor grants it to the borrower, the new buyer. Okay, number 26. The type of deed that offers the grantee the fullest protection against claims to the title is A, general warranty deed, B, special warranty deed, C, a quitclaim deed, or D, bargain and defend deed. Hi, Jojo. Nice to see you, girl. Okay. So answers. Okay, Katina says A. We're on number 26, not 27. Okay, anybody else? So Katina says A, Cree says A, Miko says A. Very good. The answer is A. 226A. General warranty deed has the most protection, the fullest protection against claims to the title. Y'all are doing awesome. My voice just isn't. Oh, bummer. It shows up under. Oh, well. Number 27. What is one of the purposes of a lawsuit to quiet title? A, to force the grantor to defend the title against a third-party claim. B, to terminate a co-ownership estate when one co-owner is unwilling. C, to keep the owner's name out of the title records. Or D, to have an encumbrance removed if the lien holder cannot prove its validity. So what is one of the purposes of a lawsuit to quiet title? So Cree says D and Miko says B. Let's see. B is to terminate a co-ownership estate when one co-owner is unwilling. No. Both owners have to agree. Remember, if it's a partnership, if it's a husband and wife, but when there's a co-ownership, there's probably a partnership, an LLC, and both have to agree because the LLC owns it. And this is an estate. They both have an interest in it. So a quiet title means there's some type of an incorrect name, or there's a debt that doesn't belong to the owner. A divorce, a marriage, and there can be an affidavit done or a quitclaim deed, and that will remove the encumbrance. Okay, if the lien holder can't prove its validity, they'll complete an affidavit or do the lawsuit to quiet that title. It's legal documents. Okay, so let's see. Who went? Okay, remember to write the number of the question when you're answering so I know which question you're answering. If I keep coughing, I may have to end the class early, guys. So my apologies. not a good thing when I haven't been teaching. I was out on vacation, went to Cozumel with my daughter for 5 nights. I went to Oklahoma before that for also like 5 days for 4th of July. And then after that, I went to El Paso to an EXP Explained event. So been out and about, probably why I got sick too. Okay, did you all understand why it's not B? So Miko, Cree both said D, and that was correct. Okay, the answer is D. Okay, number 28. Gosh. Huh. Okay. Well, that didn't work. I'm trying to accommodate this page to show you, make sure. Let's see, I have the small line spacing. 28 won't let me show all of 28 in one page. There we go. Okay, 28. Which of the following best describes a documentary stamp tax? A transfer tax based on the price of the property being conveyed. B, a tax a title company must pay in order to examine title records in the records office. C, a tax collected by attorneys and paid to the state when transfer documents are prepared. Or D, a tax on stamps used to certify the authenticity of conveyance. So documentary stamp tax. So is it transfer tax based on price of the property being conveyed? A tax a title company must pay in order to examine title records. Well, usually the buyer or the seller pays for those fees. The title company is a third neutral party. They don't pay for anybody. Okay. C is a tax collected by attorneys and paid to the state when transfer documents are prepared, and attorneys don't pay fees either. D, a tax on stamps used to certify the authenticity of a conveyance. So it's either A or D. So the authenticity of a conveyance ends up being what? The deed, right? The warranty deed. So it's not D. The winner is A. So Katina also said A. Yes, it is a transfer tax based on the price of the property being conveyed. And typically, there's a transfer tax on, excuse me, condominiums, townhomes, HOAs, associations, things like that. And if you're a non-resident, there's going to be a tax that they have to pay. So number 28 is I said 2228. It's 2.28 A, not 228. All right. Yes, so another user. So when you give Facebook, Facebook permission to post on gosh, sorry. When you don't give Facebook permission to post for StreamYard to post on Facebook, there'll be this Facebook user. Okay, I'll see your name on Facebook, but I can't see it on here. Once you click on the what was it? This link here. If you go to this link here, you can give Facebook permission for YouTube to post. You get a little a web page that opens up like this, and then you just click on the Let StreamYard see your Facebook Live comments. Okay. All right, that was number 28. Very good. Number 29. The court proceeding that generally settles a descendant's estate is called A, testate, B, probate, C, escheat, or D, distribution. So it is a court proceeding that generally settles a descendant's estate is called A, testate, B, probate, C, escheat, or D, distribution. So again, definitions, vocabulary. Oh my gosh, I never thought about a warm brandy, but that might be a good thing, huh? I don't keep hard liquor around. I may drink a beer. I drink beer and margaritas. Oh, and wine. But I don't normally keep hard liquor. But oh man, I remember my ex-relatives using brandy and making a like a Mexican brandy punch and hot, and then with lime and honey. Oh, that would go really good right now. Yes. Thanks, Cree. All right. So 29 is B, probate. Very good. Very good, Katina, Cree. Both of you got it right. Gosh, it doesn't make it easy. Sorry. Okay, let's see if I do it. Okay, we get to see all of, oh, we're on 30, right? No, that didn't work. Okay, there's 30. If an owner of real property dies intestate and has no legal heirs, what will happen to the property? So I had a student mention to me one time, he said the way that he remembered it was within, without. So within, without means it doesn't have a will. So if it has the word in, oh, well, I'm not going to give you the answer. So that's how he remembers it, within, without. Hi, Jesus Villarreal Jr. He says A. So A, it will escheat to the state or county. B, it will transfer to the descendant's executor. C, it will be divided equally among adjoining property owners. Yo, wow, really? I want to be next to that owner. D, it will become a public easement. Not exactly. That's like eminent domain or police powers, right? So I've got, let's see, Katina said A. Jesus says A. Kimberly B. Creo says A. So going once, twice, three times, the answer is A. It is escheat. So within, without, intestate means without a will. So it's escheat. It goes to the court. And the court does the research to see if they find any legal heirs. But intestate means they have no legal heirs. Within has the N, and it's without a will. So 230 is A. Hi, Samantha. Hey, Jojo. We haven't talked in a while. I've been busy. And traveling. Okay, 229A. Well, that's weird here. What did I do here? 2.29. Okay. Gosh, I'm not even thinking straight. We're on 230. Right? Very good for those of you that answered A. Let's see who answered B. Kimberly. Okay. So when there is a will, there's an executor. If there is no executor and it goes to probate, then the judge, the court, will select an administrator. But when there's a will, there's an executor. When there's do I have it the right way? Will, executor, yeah. Judge signs an administrator. When there are no legal heirs, that means they die without a will and didn't leave it to anybody, so it's cheap. Okay, I'm gonna have to take a break. We're gonna end the national, and then we'll go into state. So we will start with question 231 on page 139. And the answers are going to be on 246. Wait a minute. Yeah, 246. Okay, guys, I need to do a coffee and water break and clearing. I'll be back. Excuse me. I've got to take a coughing pill and some coffee medicine. Hold on. Crapola, man. It's no fun being somewhat sick. At least I'm doing better today. But you know what? The doctor also gave me prednisone. You know what that is? That is like steroid. Well, it is a part of steroid, which is to cause the inflammation in the throat, the esophagus, and the chest, and the sinuses. to reduce and recover quicker, right? Like people who bodybuild or do sport, they do steroids and they recover quicker. However, they give they give a false sense of energy. So all of a sudden I've got all this energy, and last night I couldn't sleep. I think I slept 2-3 hours. That's not good, right? When we're sick. So hopefully I'll be able to go to sleep early. Okay, so did I type the answers? Makes you gain weight. Oh, it does too? Oh, that's right, huh? Because it helps the muscles. Prednisone helps the muscles. Yeah, that's not good. I don't want to gain weight, man. Okay, so let me see. I showed the answer to 38. Okay, so we're starting now. We're going to go to state. So that was the end of the Kindle on the, so for those of you who maybe came in a little bit later, we were doing national on this book. I bought this in December, so 2020, okay? All right, now we're going to do state. So anybody that's, I think I had one person from Wisconsin. So thank you for joining. So that means that when you're searching, you're finding information about this. And there's a lot of resources out there, other people that do it on YouTube and stuff. Mine's a little bit different. I go through the material, I let you see it, I explain the questions, I explain the answers, keywords, other people do too. So there's a lot of different ways. I've been doing this for over 8 years on and off. Some years I do it straight through, and others when I take vacation I don't. So we're going to start with question number 100. Okay, and let me adjust my screens here. On the other. Okay. Hold on, like if you could see my end of my office, I have a small desk, right? And I have 2 monitors, my computer and a docking station. I have a light, I have 2 phones. I have a whole bunch of stuff that I'm displaying, so that I used to show you the answers, but I had a few students say, Lillie, don't show us the answers. Okay. All right. So we're going to be doing state next. Wow. Thanks, Kimberly, for that. Not what I wanted to hear, but yeah, I forgot that prednisone or steroids do that. Okay. So state questions and answers. So we'll do about 30 minutes or less of this. And thank you for bearing with me. Oh, did I say hi to Samantha Rendon? No, I don't think I did. If I didn't, I apologize. So thank you for joining us today. Okay, ready for changing your thinking cap and putting state questions? Because on the state, you have 40 questions, right? Some people, it's harder to do state than national, but on the national, you have, 85 questions, and on the state, you have 40, and that's because those taking the exam for brokers have the same questions. They have to answer more correctly. Okay, that's the only difference. So you're not graded. It's not like you're going to get a 70 out of 85 questions or a 70 out of 40. You're going to get graded 70 out of 30 questions. Okay, that's why you only have to pass 21 out of 30, even though you were given 40 questions. Got it? All right, number 100. Yay, that's what you need to get, right? 100. Well, you don't. All you have to do is get a 70. You don't have to have perfection. There is no perfection. in this business. We do our hardest to do that, but there is no perfection. Because you know what? It creates problems. All right. So a real estate salesperson decides to sell their property without using a broker. So they're being a for sale by owner, right? In offering their property for sale, what must the salesperson do? A, they must disclose the name, address, telephone number of their sponsoring broker. B, they are prohibited by law from selling their own property without using a broker. And C, well, I got to be careful not to give you the answer, right? C, they must disclose to the buyer that they hold a real estate license. D, they are exempt from the need to disclose anything since they're acting solely as a private citizen. Whoa. Thinking cap on, common sense. What is one of the biggest things that we have to do all the time? Disclose, 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 right? Because it'll kick us on the butt. So remember to type the question number and the answer. Oh, by the way, on this book, the state questions are from 81 to 110. The national are from 1 to 80. So the first 80 are national and the last 30 are state in this book. Back then is when you took only 110 questions, 80 and 30. Okay, so far I have Katina that says C. Anybody else? Nobody else? Come on, this is your time. Don't be shy. You know what? I used to be shy. I used to be shy to be on video. I have learned otherwise because that's what we've got to do today. Video is the way to go. And this is where you practice because I can help you. It is blurry. It is. Well, on my phone, on my monitor, it looks clear. Okay, you see, I'm using it on my phone. See, I have one phone. I have two phones, okay, that I have it on. And it looks clear on mine. So try to turn it sideways. If you're on your phone, you must be on your phone because it does show clearly on the monitor and on my phone. That's why I display it on the phone. Okay, so I've got Samantha that says C. And that means that they must disclose. Anybody else? Jesse says C or Jesus. Sorry about that. I didn't ask if I could call you Jesse. Thank you for writing the number down. Kimberly says D. Well, the answer is C. A realtor must disclose to the buyer that they hold a real estate license. So some of the trick words or important words to pay attention is when they say must and must. So one of the must answers was correct. A lot of times you want to disregard those answers that have always, never, only, must, and occasionally there'll be one of them that's correct. You know, the first one says they must disclose the name, address, and telephone number of their sponsoring broker. Well, we must display the name of the broker, but not the address and the telephone number. Unless you're taking, what do they call it? When you're taking calls in the office, office duty, okay, then you'll have to disclose, okay, also the company's phone number on your sign because you're getting leads from other realtors. But in this case, they're selling their own property. They must disclose to a buyer because we're more educated. We're more experienced. We know the law, or we understand it better because we've gone to school, right? And passed exams. So C, must disclose to the buyer that they hold a real estate license. Okay, 101. Here, I'm going to make it a little bit larger. Then I have to move it left and right. 101. Which of the following is a statutory authority given to the Texas Real Estate Commission known as TREC, right? TRC. Know those acronyms. So which of the following is a statutory authority given to TREC, Texas Real Estate Commission? A, license and regulate developers of condominium communities. B, inspect and accredit providers of acceptable education programs to provide pre-licensure real estate education. C, regulate the work of appraisers who perform appraisals for loans that are federally related. Or D, regulate the size, duration, frequency, and medium of ads promoting real property offered for sale. So where do we go to register, okay, and know what classes we have to take? And who we can take the classes from. And now you need a proctor. When I took mine, there were no proctors. So Jesus says B. Anybody else? Nobody else? Okay, Katina says B. Very good. The answer is B. Very good. All right, number 103. No, 102. Can't count. Huh. You ever notice how you can't always focus when you don't feel this well? My body feels okay. It's just my throat and congestion, as you can tell. Okay, 102. For which of the following is there no promulgated form? A, contract for deed. B, lease for 60 days of occupancy by seller after closing. C, sale of an unimproved residential building lot. Or D, addendum to establish terms and conditions of a seller financing arrangement. So definitions, keywords, vocabulary. Remember, you're learning a new language of real estate. It's like going to another country or learning another language. You learn the keywords, the main definitions to at least understand. So think about it and type your answer. Which one does not have a promulgated form? Nobody's taking a chance. Whoa. Katina, there is a sale for an unimproved residential building lot. So that means there's a vacant lot and that is unimproved. So it hasn't been improved with utilities, roads, curb, and gutter. It is contract for deed. Most people don't know what contract for deed is, and that is a lawn contract. That is when an owner sells the property themselves and they're financing it. So they're a seller financing. Okay. Now, we do have an addendum to establish terms and conditions of seller financing. We have a third-party addendum, which is for a lender, and we have seller financing arrangement. The answer is A. Sorry to disappoint you. That just lets you know how much more practice you need to do questions and vocabulary. Here, had you known the definition for that, you would have been able to answer it. Keep in mind that you are also going to be asked questions in the exam that you've never seen before or you didn't study for. They want you to think of scenarios. And more than likely, some of them I'm going to miss myself. Okay, because they make them tricky. Okay. Number 103. They say to breathe through your nose and not through your mouth when you don't want to cough. And, it's kind of hard to breathe through your nose when I'm congested. So remember that when you don't want to cough when you're a speaker or you're doing a presentation, when you take a deep breath through your nose instead of through your throat, because through your mouth, then the throat dries and then we cough. Okie dokie. 103, Sam and Sally, S&S, are occupying an apartment on a month-to-month lease with rent due and payable on the 15th day of each month. How much notice must they give their landlord to terminate their tenancy at will? Okay, so they pay rent due payable on the 15th on a month-to-month lease. A, 30 days unless otherwise stipulated in the rental agreement. B, 1 month plus 15 days. C, 1 month plus 30 days. D, since it is tenancy at will, no notice is required. So if you've ever rented, you probably know, right? If you've never rented, if you go to a hotel and you stay there for 15 days or 30 days, people rent it like in South Padre Island or coast area. When the northerners come south, they rent on a month-to-month basis there. They still have to inform if they're ever going to leave. So 103 is, did anybody answer over here? Katina, you didn't answer. The answer, guys and ladies, is A. Oh, very good, Katina. It is 30 days unless otherwise stipulated in the rental agreement. Some states do require 60 days. But on a 30-day month-to-month, it's 30 days. Some leases do require more. So let's see. Somebody answered C. No, D. Since it's a tenancy at will, no notice is required. Well, it's a month-to-month lease. It doesn't say anything whether it is a tenancy. Okay, I'm sorry. How much notice must they give their landlord to terminate their tenancy at will? So even in a tenancy at will, Okay, they can leave at any time. They don't have a whole year commitment. They still have to give a 30 days notice. And a lot of times it can be done now by email or a written piece of paper. It doesn't have to be a formal document. 104. Did y'all get that? Okay, which of the following is true when an applicant for licensure has failed to pass the competency examination within the prescribed 6-month period? Okay, that question, I should write these questions that are no longer valid. This one is exam 1. Now we have 12 months to take the exam. Right? We don't have 6 months, we have 12 months. So which of the following is true when an applicant for licensure has failed to pass the competency examination within the prescribed 12 months? A, the applicant must petition the Texas Real Estate Commission for an extension. B, the applicant may exercise the 3-day grace period to retake the exam. C, the applicant may submit a new application with no additional fees. And D, the applicant must submit a new application meeting all current requirements. So if you ever print this out or if you study it, remember that that question is 12 months and not 6 months, okay? This part right here. That is outdated. So Kimberly and Katina say D. That is correct. I'm usually real high energy for a lot of you that are new on here. I'm hyper, right? Especially when I've had coffee. And the steroid also gives me energy, right? But I'm loud and highly energetic. Okay, number 105. Let's go to the top of the page. But I don't get up highly energetic in the morning until I have my cup of coffee. I mean, I like mornings, but coffee really, I tell you what, when you get addicted to coffee, that's the only thing I'm addicted to. And my eyes perk up, you know, the eyes really wake up, right? And the body, sometimes I say, I wish I hadn't have gotten addicted to coffee. Started in college when I was like 33, 34. Okay, 105, enough of personal stories, right? I was taking lots of classes, 6 classes, working 20 hours part-time, belonged to organizations. I was busy. Okay, 105. Which of the following actions does not constitute a violation of the Texas Real Estate License Act, known as TRELA? That's the acronym, TRELA, T-R-E-L-A. A, receiving a commission without knowledge and consent of the licensee's client. B, paying $50 to an unlicensed person as an act of appreciation for referring a buyer to the salesperson. C, placing a for sale sign on the property after receiving the owner's written permission to do so. Or D, failing to disclose previous flooding that occurred on the property 15 years ago. So which one does not constitute a violation? So can we receive commission without the consent of the licensee's client? Can we pay $50 to an unlicensed person as an act of appreciation? It doesn't say how you're paying, so they're making money. So there's a specific word that is used to be acceptable. C, placing a for sale sign on the property after receiving the owner's written permission to do so. Or D, failing to disclose previous flooding that occurred on the property. So which one is not a violation? Okay, I've got 105D from Jesus. Oh, he changed it to 105C. All right, CC, oui, monsieur. And Samantha says B. The bad word here is paying. We don't pay, we gift someone $50 gift certificate, no cash. So that one is a violation. The correct answer is C. You can place a sign on a property owner's property after receiving written permission. See how easily we think we're paying somebody, we're gifting them. We're providing a gift for sending us a referral. And it cannot be a credit card like a Visa, MasterCard, one of those cards. It has to be a gift, a department store, restaurants, or something like that. Toy store, anything. Baby shower, bridal shower, anniversaries, any kind of gifts, sports gifts, but it has to be a gift. Got it? Samantha? All right, number 106. The Texas Real Estate License Act, known as what? TRELA, T-R-E-L-A. Remember that. Requires the use of which of the following addenda to be used with all promulgated contract forms? So it requires the use of which of the following addenda to be used with all promulgated contract forms? A, environmental assessment. B, seller's disclosure of property condition. C, neither A or B, both A and B. So remember I mentioned keywords about all, always, never, must. Pay attention to little keywords like that, because nothing is absolute. Well, let me rephrase that. Some things are absolute, but typically not. Thank you for being patient and understanding with my coughing and hackling and all that stuff. And this is a two-way street. I help you and you help me, because sometimes I type the wrong answer, and I learn from all of you also. I also used to do it on Zoom, but most people wouldn't get on Zoom. But now what we did school and everything. Let's see, anybody answer? Nobody answers? Oh, I forgot to post that one. Wow. Neither of the forms. The seller's disclosure property condition is if it's a home. Okay, Katina answered. No, if it's land, there's not going to be any seller's disclosures. When it's vacant land, what are they going to disclose? There's no house to disclose deficiencies or improvement or insurance claims. If it's a commercial business, it has a commercial condition form. But so it is not attached addendum with all promulgated forms. Okay, so neither of these. We don't always have environmental issues. In fact, most of the time we don't, unless you're close to a coast, or earthquakes, flooding, mudslides, fires. There could be environmental hazards or contamination, brown, what do you call it? Brown soil or brown land when it's contaminated with chemicals. The answer is C. Okay, so I had Katina changed it to C. Very good. Is anybody taking their exam this week? Okay, number 107. In Texas, real estate brokerage fees or sales commissions are A, negotiated between the client and the broker, B, negotiable up to a maximum amount set by the Texas Real Estate Commission, known as TREC, C, determined by the local association of realtors, or D, set by federal law to bring standardization to the real estate transactions funded by loans to be sold to the secondary market. You've ever heard the words, everything is negotiable in real estate? Think about that. Okay, Katina, you're taking your exam this Friday. Practice a lot of questions. Are you taking both of them? Study a lot of vocabulary. Take time each day, okay, that you have left, and affirm and believe that you already passed. Say, I passed, I passed, I passed. Do as many national and state questions that you can find. Okay, so lots and lots of questions, flashcards if you have them, vocabulary, practice with somebody. Give yourself lots of hours before, and if it's in the morning, don't cram the night before, even though that's what I used to do, but it's not the best way. Try not to drink a whole bunch of coffee so you don't get all wired and nervous. And relax before you go in. Take some deep breaths, close your eyes, believe in what you've studied, and ask for guidance. If you're a Christian, if you believe in God, ask God for guidance or Jesus to help you remember everything that you've studied, and that you get the easiest test possible, okay? And affirm, I passed, I passed, I passed. I've been telling my students that for years, and I tell it to myself. And I'll show you, I'll tell you an example in a few minutes. Let me put the answer down for this. Where is it? 107 is A. Okay, right now we're on a seller's market. We have very low inventory, and there's a lot of competition between buyers, and there are a lot of cash buyers and conventional buyers out there. And so I've been showing townhomes to one of my buyers that I attracted through my YouTube channel, living in San Antonio, Texas. And we can't find anything. We couldn't find anything for several days. And even when I was out of town, I had one of my realtor associate friends show her property. So one night after showing her, I went knocking doors in the neighborhood she wants to be in the subdivision. There were 2 homes that were for sale, and they both got contracts like that. Okay, and moving to close. Nothing else has come. So what's the next best thing we can do when we can't? That's where they stress that they want to be. And I offered, I said, if I have to, I'll go knock on doors of other neighbors and see if I can find an answer, a neighbor to say yes. And would you believe it? I'm walking around and I'm like, God, get me a yes answer. Get me a yes seller. I have a yes seller. I have a yes seller. And probably by the sixth door or seventh door, I got invited in to see the house. The seller had just gotten home and we're negotiating. So then I got sick. So I looked at the house, learned about it, did a CMA, talked to the buyer. And so I believed it. I'm like, I found the right seller. Believe it and make it happen. You're persistent, right? But you got to believe it. And I surprised myself. I've done it before, but a long time ago. And so now we have to wait for him to, he's out of town for a couple of days doing business, owns his own business. But she went to see it. She liked it. It's not perfect, but it's in the neighborhood that she wants. So that's an example of when we affirm something that we want. You want to pass, so say you already made it happen. You see yourself passing and say, yay, I passed, okay? And I also want a trip like that, okay? To Hawaii, to Maui years ago when I was an engineer. So you affirm it throughout the day, every day. And before you go in, relax. Okay. Is it your first time, Katina? Or have you taken it before? So we'll be done with questions now. We'll start on page 47 next week, unless I decide to do it on Saturday. I used to do both Friday, Wednesday and Saturday. But lately I've been real busy. So are you still on here, Katina? Is this your first time? Did I type the answer? Yeah, 107A, right? What was 107A? Negotiate between the client and the broker. Yeah, the commission is determined by the client and the broker. Even though we're the ones negotiating the commission is negotiable, it's open, there is no monopoly. So we get to decide between the seller and ourselves as to what commission to charge and agree upon. However, the listings belong to the broker, so that's why it says. So it's your second time, okay? So take the exams, okay, that you took. Did I already write the answers? Yes. Okay. The exams that you took and go through, remember I showed you at the end of this, or was it before? Let's see here. Okay, remember this right here? So look at the sections that you did poorly on your exam, the answers that they give you. They say you got so many right and so many wrong, right? So out of 10, you got 5 wrong, 5 right, or out of 4, you got 2 right, or out of 4, you got 4 right. Well, check and see which category it is. Go in here at the exam one for review and study those questions. Okay? And that'll help you. Okay, focus on your weak areas. Of course, you still want to study on the other areas, but focus on the areas that you did the worst. And again, this book is on our group under the tab More. Then you scroll down to Files. And it's the first source. When you click on it, well, depending on whether you have an Android computer or a Macintosh, it's going to do it differently. So when you click on it, it opens the posting where I did it. Then you've got to click on it again to open it and download it. Okay. I mean, you don't have to download it. You can study it on there, but a lot of students have downloaded them and printing them so that they can study them again, and they bind them. Okay, it's 287 pages. You see up here, 287 pages. So it is right there. Okay, take advantage of it. Practice these questions that you're weak at, and study every day. So tonight is Wednesday. You said you're taking it on Friday. So you have tonight and tomorrow. So right now, take a break. Try to take a break every hour, like when you're going to school and you get the bell rings and you get 10 minutes between classes or 5 minutes. And I don't always do it when I'm working, right? I keep working, I forget. I have to put on a little alarm to remind me, take a break, take a break, take a break. Otherwise, I keep going. But it's important to relax your mind. Now, if you're being distracted, it takes time to get your focus back on what you're studying. Distraction takes you longer to learn something. You've got to find a room or a library or go somewhere where you can focus 100%. Interruption from kids, spouse, family members. Every time you have an interruption, it takes that much longer to get back and focus. It doesn't happen instantaneously. That's why multitasking, employers actually lose money. They work less. People work like 50% of the time versus that whole 8 hours. So you made a 55 on the national and a 19 on the state. Okay, so on the state, you needed 21, right? And on the national, you need, how many do you need on the national? 57. So it's 85 times 0.70. Okay, you need 59 because you get 85 questions, right? So you need to get 60 of them correct. Okay, so you're close. All right, so study the sections, okay, on here that you need to work on. Then, contact other people that are also studying, but if not, go to a library, go to a room, close yourself up and study. Don't study the big fat books, okay? Study review books, questions, answers, understand it, pay attention to little keywords. When you get to the exam, you have about 1.5 to 2 minutes per question. If you don't know something, click it for review. Don't focus a lot of times, including also the math. Okay, you can come back and answer the questions later, and a future question could help answer a past question. Once you do the national, of course, you can't go back. You start the state. Okay? Again, thanks for bearing with me tonight, and welcome all those of you that were new. A few of you retake on the 16th. You did 15 state and 33 national. Okay, Samantha, lots of practice. I would highly recommend that you study a lot your vocabulary. The vocabulary will help you a lot on the national. It'll help you on the state, but it's going to help you learn your acronyms. Okay, the words like Trella, Trek, words like that. PITI, ARM. Know those acronyms. And I also have a list of acronyms on the documents on Facebook, okay, to help you remember. There are a lot of documents on there that I uploaded, that I downloaded from other sites and from students that post on Prep Agents and places like that. And I uploaded them on here so that you have free resources. You know where to go on our Facebook group, AgentPrep, with Wow Lillie Handy. Go to More, down to Files. Okay. And look at all these files on there. Math, state, national, study sheets, definitions, more questions, types of ownerships, more practice questions, leases, contract clauses, more questions, more input. Give me more input. Remember that robot? What was it? Not R2D2, but the funny one with the finger. Gosh, I forget. So exam prep cheat sheet. So lots and lots of questions. This one is the same that's on the top. So I should delete that. Okay. All right. Any questions before we call it a night? You're very welcome, Kimberly. So you have a little bit more time to attend a few more classes or reviews before you take your exam. I appreciate all of you. Because of all of you, I started doing this. I started learning how to make videos, how to post on social media, because of my students. And I do it for free. I don't charge because I look forward to getting to talk to you, a lot of you, when you're about ready to decide to select a broker. I am looking for partners to join me anywhere in the US. Doesn't have to be here in person because our company, EXP, is a virtual company. We are a cloud-based company. Okay? See this little icon down here? This is the EXP world. So we're on the cloud. We have access to people, employees in the world, and we're growing fast throughout the world. There's a lot of benefits, and it behooves you to interview with different brokers before you make a decision. And it matters who you choose, even if it's with the same company. Some people are going to help you, some are not. We're not required to, but it benefits us to help others because the more the company grows, the more money we make. And I can build a retirement, okay? And get stocks when I produce my first deal every year and more. Okay, I don't see any questions. Thank you. You're very welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Until next time, catch you later. And they're also recorded on the YouTube channel. I haven't been able to post a whole bunch of other ones, but here in our Facebook group, all the 2-hour recordings are on here. On YouTube, I was dividing it into vocabulary, national questions, and state questions, 3 different videos. I just need to hire somebody to help me do that. Okay, have a good night. Have a good one. Study hard. And take breaks. Good night.